Namor is the newcomer into the MCU, and as the Lord of the Seas, he's insanely powerful. He's even been said to be as powerful as Thor, when he gets into the water, to be as strong as the Hulk. So yeah, I'd say he's pretty impressive. And today, well, we're really gonna put that to the test by throwing this King of the Oceans versus this King of the Oceans. Aquaman, the Lord of the Seven Seas, the King of Atlantis. So, who's coming out on top here? Well, today we're going to analyze their strengths and weaknesses, their powers and abilities to find out who wins in the battle arena. What's up, guys? I'm Daniel, and this is DanCo. We do fight breakdowns like this one every week, plus the occasional ranking video or things like that. So if that seems interesting to you, well, sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. If you want to, go hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it.
I suppose you want to talk about this, do you?
Neither do I.
When the queen of the underwater city of Atlantis washed up on shore, she was found and rescued by a lighthouse keeper. This started a forbidden romance, and from this love was born the first man of both land and sea, Arthur Curry, the Aquaman. Arthur initially rejected the title of royalty given to him by the Atlanteans and scoffed at the idea of being a hero up on the surface world. But you can't run from who you are, at least not for forever. And Aquaman, well, he's a hero. He's a king. Now, Aquaman is superhuman, just being insanely strong. And he definitely looks the part too. I mean, good lord. He's strong enough to casually knock people around and send them flying with just the lightest of punches. He can fight against his brother Orm, and their fight was so powerful that it sent out shockwaves all around it. Aquaman is actually consistently doing this, sending out shockwaves with his punches. Then he's strong enough to fight against Steppenwolf. And not just fight against Steppenwolf and kick him around, but actually full on stop one of Steppenwolf's swings. I mean, sure, end of the day, Steppenwolf might still be stronger, but that's still pretty dang impressive. But the most impressive thing Aquaman has ever done, that's gotta be pushing up that submarine to the surface. A feat that would have required him lifting over 500,000 tons. That's once you add in the weight of the sub and all the seawater that he's pushing out of the way. So yeah, we're kind of talking about just an absurd amount of strength here. And Aquaman is just as tough as you might think too. Like, let's just say this. It's probably a bad idea to try and punch him. He can straight up jump out of planes, not even be bothered, crash land through buildings and bring it all down with him, and just look cool while doing it. The guy is pretty tough. He can take punches from Superman that sent him launching away, was still able to pick himself back up and rejoin the fight, only to then be taken out by the Flash. And yeah, they probably had some words about that one. He was able to take all sorts of attacks from Steppenwolf, some of which were just able to send him flying away. He's able to take a ton of attacks from Orm too, and yet never stopped fighting. While Atlantean swords can give him some trouble, normal swords don't do anything. He can take a grenade launcher at point blank range and pick himself back up. And while Black Manta's eye blast were able to definitely injure him, let's just remember how powerful these blasts truly are. And that's not all Aquaman has going for him. He's also the King of Atlantis, giving him the power and authority to wield the Trident of Atlan. And along with that comes the ability to communicate with all sea life.
I hear you can talk to fish.
Aquaman always had some raw, innate ability to talk with sea creatures. But with the Trident, well, this is like cranked up to 11. Aquaman is able to control the gigantic primordial Karathan, and ride the monster into battle. He was able to control all of Atlantis' war mounts, causing them to turn on their riders, then call for thousands of sea creatures to attack. He can even control the trench. And let me just tell you definitely don't want to get jumped and mugged by these guys. That won't go too well for you here.
They called him Kukulkan, the feather serpent god.
Namor, or Kukulkan, is the ruler over the underwater kingdom of Talokan. Determined to protect his people from the surface world, Namor began to feel a bit threatened when the US began searching for vibranium under the ocean and nearly stumbled across his country. And so he approached Wakanda, the only other country with vibranium, and proposed an alliance. The countries with vibranium versus all the ones without, waging war on the world so that no one would ever threaten them again. Obviously, Wakanda wasn't too thrilled about this idea, and so Namor and Talokan went to war against the Black Panther and Wakanda instead. Now, Namor isn't just an underwater fish man, but he's actually a mutant on top of that. So he can breathe on the land and under the water, then fly and zip all around with a pair of little wings on his ankles. Which, I mean, that's great and super cool that he can fly, but that's gotta be the lamest look you could possibly have. Namor is impressively strong, able to toss around Wakandan jets and spin around helicopters. Just anything in the sky, he's gonna throw it around and bring it down. But it's really his striking that's the most impressive. He's able to take his vibranium spear and pierce right through all the Wakandan ships and planes, all of which are made with vibranium. So some vibranium on vibranium action, and Namor is able to break it. And if that's not evident enough, he drove his spear straight through the Black Panther suit. So again, piercing right through vibranium. And it's not just only with the spear. Namor was able to shatter M'Baku's staff and then send him flying with a punch and bust apart his armor. Both of those things are made out of Jabari wood, which is reportedly able to go toe-to-toe with vibranium. So remember when Thanos did this? Well, yeah, that's kind of the exact same thing that Namor is doing here too. Namor is also incredibly durable as well. M'Baku hit him with his Jabari staff and didn't do anything. Only downside is, Namor is a fish man. And if you dry him out and dehydrate him, well, he gets substantially weaker. Still able to take attacks from Black Panther, and still able to take some pretty big explosions, but yeah, he gets a whole lot weaker the longer he's away from the water. But once he gets in water again, well, he's perfectly fine. The water legit heals him in almost an instant. And last but not least, well, Namor is ridiculously fast. On the land, in the air, and especially in the water. Like ridiculously fast. And easily able to dodge all sorts of energy blasts and projectiles and all sorts of things. Those little tiny wings might not look great, but turns out they do come in handy.
Permission to come aboard?
Okay, so those are our two fighters. Those are two underwater kings. Who's coming out on top here? Who's gonna win? Well, let's break it down a little bit. Now, the first thing I want to take another look at is Namor destroying vibranium ships and breaking Jabari wood. Just generally being able to run all over vibranium. Because if this is a true feat, and it really stands up, well then he's not just as strong as Thor or Hulk, but the dude is straight as strong as Thanos. He's the only one we've seen be able to break vibranium just with pure strength. So is Namor really that strong? Well, I mean, he's able to pierce straight through vibranium with his spear. And no question about it, those ships are made out of vibranium. That suit is made out of vibranium. Namor is able to get through both of them. That's impressive. But I think it's less of a pure strength thing and more of a vibranium can break vibranium thing. I mean, look here. Black Panther doing literally the exact same thing. The exact same thing. So either Black Panther is Thanos strong, or vibranium is just that good. And I'm gonna lean towards the second one there. But what about breaking apart Jabari wood? That's gotta count for something, right? Well, yeah, that's insanely impressive. We even know that Jabari wood can go toe-to-toe with vibranium, but that doesn't mean that Jabari wood is vibranium. We actually don't know exactly what it is. The Jabari believe that it was a gift given to them by Hanuman, the ape god, while other Wakandans just believe that it's wood that was mutated and infused with vibranium when the meteor landed. That's what makes it stronger. Either way, it's an impressive feat. Namor is breaking something insanely tough here, but I don't think it counts the same as like breaking Captain America's shield, which is literally just pure vibranium. End of the day, I think Namor is around the same range as like Thor and Hulk. That's accurate to the comics, it's backed up by his feats, and Ryan Coogler, the director of the movie, even said as much. But I don't think he's legit Thanos strong, and I don't think he's like ridiculously stronger than Aquaman either. One area where Namor definitely is better though is speed. Sure, like Aquaman isn't a joke. He can dip and dodge and duck, he can evade some attacks, but it's nothing on Namor. He's able to dodge so many more attacks, do it so much more impressively. And he doesn't just have a speed advantage on land, but he's got one in the air as well. Now, durability, well, that's a little bit shaky. Because on one hand, Aquaman is able to take punches from Superman and from Steppenwolf and keep on getting back and keep on fighting. I'm hard pressed to believe that Namor is going to be able to do more damage with his punches than those two guys. But on the other hand, while Namor does have a healing factor when in the water, we never really saw his durability get pressed, like there was taking an attack from M'Baku, who at the end of the day is just a really strong dude, then taking all those attacks from Black Panther. But he was dehydrated before that fight ever even began, so who knows how well he would have done if he was at full strength. We don't really know how tough Namor is. And because of that, I think Aquaman is a bit tougher. That healing factor will make things tricky. But if Arthur can get Namor out of the water and on land, I think he's tougher. Taking punches from Superman and Steppenwolf is definitely the high mark to beat. And I'm not sure if Namor has beat it yet. Of course, on the other hand, both of them can be hurt by piercing attacks. Aquaman was cut up by Atlantean blades. Namor was scratched and clawed by vibranium. And both of them have weapons that can injure the other. But with Namor and his vibranium spear, and Aquaman and the magical trident. Now the kicker here, I think Aquaman is more skilled, which I know is a little funny. Namor has been around for way longer, he's lived for centuries, he should have more experience. Problem is, just hasn't shown it. Arthur has. From fighting against Black Manta unarmed, to fighting against Steppenwolf, to fighting against and beating Orm. Aquaman has shown some serious skill with his trident, more so than Namor ever did. But the real kicker? Aquaman can talk to fish. Namor can't.
I'm just like Aquaman, but I can't get fish to do things.
That's the big thing.
I mean, isn't that all Aquaman does?
When this fight takes place in the water, Aquaman is going to have essentially an unlimited army of sea creatures at his call. Not gonna lie, that's a pretty nice advantage to have, because that instantly takes the fight from a one-on-one, makes it a one versus an army. So in the water, I think Aquaman takes it for sure. He already looks like he's stronger. He's just as fast, if not faster. He can summon any and all fish and whales and sharks and everything. We've just never seen Namor fight in the water or anything. We know Aquaman is real skilled at underwater fights. On land, well, it's a bit closer, but I think Aquaman is still tougher. He's a more skilled fighter, and depending on how quickly Namor dries out and gets depowered, Aquaman could definitely take it. Of course, Namor is lightning fast with those little wings. He could get some nice hits and tag Aquaman with a killing blow. But I think at the end of the day, this is still more of an Aquaman fight. Aquaman wins.
Wow, a real superhero.
I have little wings on my feet.
Yeah, and it's over. It's over.
But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. And if you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. We're gonna see more videos like this one every single week. And I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.